This is for Franciscan University of Steubenville, Education 541, School and Society, Planned Field Experience 2. Proposition 2. Teachers know the subjects they teach and how to teach those subjects to students. Proposition 5. Teachers are members of learning communities. Field-based activity. Consider the general characteristics of the millennial generation. What skill strengths and gaps, as well as preconceptions, do these students bring to your class? Devise a set of diverse instructional strategies to teach these students. This is a paper by Julie McGregor for Dr. Charles Kokiko, August 28, 2011. Field-based statement. The millennial generation is the subject of a great deal of study and discussion in education at every level, as well as in the business community. In his article, The Always Connected Generation, Glenn Bull remarks that, quote, a changing world where all students are connected all the time has substantial educational implications. This connectedness, according to Bull, has given us, as educators, an opportunity to examine not only curricula, but the delivery of material in the 21st century classroom. Bull comments that teacher preparation programs need to adapt now so that educators leaving those programs are prepared with skills in not only content knowledge and pedagogy, but technology as well. These comments are echoed by Susan Amajawali in her article, Millennials Leading the Charge for Change. The basic characteristic of the millennial generation are well known. They are special, sheltered, confident, team-oriented, conversational, pressured, and achieving. They also feel no connection to their learning, and almost half report being bored on a daily basis. Quote, millennials want to be taught in a way that they can understand, end quote, according to Amajawali. There has been discussion and suggestions that the K-12 curriculum must be aligned more closely with higher education to continue to meet the needs of the millennial generation. As we meet this new multitasking, connected generation in our classrooms, the challenges are many, but the opportunities to make their educational experience a great one is ever present. Learning and insights. My field educator, Dr. Bill McGregor, has experience teaching middle school, high school, and at the university level. He also worked for many years in business, using his education talents in the field of training and organizational development. Currently, Dr. McGregor is an assistant professor at DeSales University, where he teaches both graduate and undergraduate students. Bill, what strengths do you see in the students you are currently teaching from the millennial generation?
They're very socially connected, at least in a wired sense. They strike me as being comfortable with technology, and by that I mean less intimidated than previous generations of learners that I've worked with. And particularly those who are gamers or have some experience in the gaming world. I would say that they seem to have developed a very high level of critical thinking skills just based on their game experience.
What gaps, if any, do you see in these students?
Well, they're less patient with traditional educational format, and that's primarily because there's no instant gratification. But otherwise, they're as insecure as other groups that I've worked with in terms of coming into any new learning environment, and they are very grade conscious.
What preconceived notions do you see them coming to the class holding?
Well, they believe that effort equals achievement. And related to what I said a moment ago, they expect immediate feedback. They have been the center of their universe for their parents, and a lot of times they don't understand that they may not be the center of the universe for the professor in the course.
Do you have any parting comments you'd like to make about teaching this new generation of learners?
I have probably two things I would say about that. One is it's very important for educators to get up to speed pretty quickly on some of these newer technologies. The other thing I would have to say is more of a caveat to educators, in the sense that having cut my teeth professionally on developing computer-based training and then web-based training, I can tell you that the promise of technology outstrips the ability of the technology to deliver on the promise at any given time. So that while ideas about how to incorporate new technology are everywhere, the tools still don't lend themselves to to any kind of ease of use from people in perhaps our generation who are less technically capable than our students. But another thing that I think higher education in particular, needs to think about is engaging students in planning their own learning, so that the students who are going to be using the technology have more say in what role the technology should or shouldn't play in their educational experience. I realize that's risky in the sense that you take a chance on people dumbing down their own education just because it's easier that way. But I do think that if we begin to help people understand their own responsibility for their learning and the role that the technology that they're so comfortable with can play in making that not only easy but enjoyable and kind of instant, if you will, then if we do that, we'll be ahead of the game as far as incorporating the technology into the curriculum.
Thank you so much for being a part of my learning video.
You're very welcome.
Teaching goals. In working with my 9th grade students, I will be expanding how I give them assessments. Traditionally, I have assessed knowledge or understanding by using objective tests with various types of questions, including some short essay answers. Now, I will be permitting students to choose how they would like to be assessed. They can make a video, use a PowerPoint, explain the concepts or themes in an art project like a collage or comic strip, or opt to take an oral exam in my Illuminate office. If students have other creative ways to show me their mastery of the subject material, then I will be open to including those ideas. Since this is a highly technical generation, I will use those strengths when doing my assessments this year. Also, since this generation is one that is used to multimedia presentations, I will use more videos and podcasts as well as web sharing during my classes. I will ask students to share sites and videos that they have found on the topics we're discussing so they can enhance their research techniques as well as become presenters in the class. One last goal I have is to use collaborative groups more. This is a challenge as my students do not have a safe and monitored site where they can meet to collaborate. I've used my Illuminate office in the past to allow groups to work on short projects, and I will extend that time this year so that I will be able to have more students involved in more projects as the year goes on.